Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Hannah. I also would like to welcome everyone to our Reef Rehabilitation Restoration workshop. Um, Before starting my presentation, I would like to give introduction about myself. I am Nizam Ibrahim. Uh, I work with Hannah, but my main focus is on coral reef monitoring across the country. Today, let me share my screen. Yeah, can you share screen? I hope everyone can see my screen. So today I will be talking about the status of Maldivian coral reefs and the National Coral Reef National Coral Reef Restoration and Rehabilitation Program. Yeah, we have here at MMRI. Um, Before going to restoration and rehabilitation program, I will talk about the current the coral cover trend we have from the data we have at MMRI. Then I will look at a case study which highlights the coral decline uh, as a result of 2016 mass coral bleaching event. I will be talking about finding from the 6 atolls in the central Maldives. So before going into presentations, uh, so Maldives is a significant country in terms of coral reefs and coral cover. We have 25 natural atolls. From that, 16 are complex atolls, and we have 5 oceanic faroes, and 4 oceanic platform reefs. Our total coral reef area is more than 4,000, almost 4,500 square kilometers, and we have coral individual coral structures, uh, more than 2,041 individual coral structures, which are bigger than 0.5 square kilometers. We are the largest coral reef nation in South Asia, and also among the top 10 largest coral countries around the world. Some sources say we are sixth largest, and some say we are seventh, but we are one of the largest. Looking at the long-term coral reef monitoring program we have here at MMRI, we have coral reef monitoring locations from all the locations of the Maldives. We have up in North Hadal. We have 14 locations in um, the lower part of the northern part of Maldives in Nonora Maldivian atoll, which we started to monitor in 2012. Then we have monitoring locations in Malé atoll, both north and south Malé. We have permanent monitoring sites in Adi atoll. Also, we have monitoring sites in Wow atoll. Put up the laser pointer. We have monitoring sites in Wow atoll, which is in the east side of the double chain. We have some in Huadu in the south, and in Addo atoll in the most southern part of Maldives. So this is a figure I made from the long-term coral reef monitoring data we have. This shows the hard coral cover percentage across the years. As you can see, we started our long-term monitoring program in 1998, following a major mass bleaching event. Then the cover actually got to relatively good level, but still, this is not only the data from our coral reef monitoring program, but all the data we have collected throughout these years with the help of external parties who come to Maldives and work with us on coral reef monitoring. As you can see, we had quite a bit of bleaching events, which indicated by a yellow sun figure. These are the severe bleaching events or temperatures temperatures which cross the severe bleaching threshold. And as you can see, after each bleaching event, there is a decline and then recovery. The last bleaching event we had was in 2016, which I will go into detail from a case study, the percentage declines we found. 2020, that's including all the monitoring we have conducted this year. I think it's almost 25 data points. So when we do more monitoring and when we get more data points, the cover actually will get the actual representation, which is a bit higher than what we have now. Going to the case study, this is a monitoring effort we did with University of Queensland from 2015 onwards. Catlin Sea View survey. This figure shows the relative coral cover percentage from 2015 and then 2017, and the change which it has, which mainly I think it's because of the bleaching, the decline is there. The locations, monitoring locations are in the central Maldives, North Malay, South Malay, Ariatol, Wow, Mimo, Dalo, and Thai Atoll. I hope you can see the decline. So this is actually the reason why I use this data set to understand actually what happened from 2016 bleaching event. Is very robust data set, very large data set, so we can actually depend on it. This is a result from around 50,000 large uh, transects, each transect having a length of about 1 to 2 kilometers, and it's taken with a very high-end advanced camera system. So the percentage decline we found is 30% compared to 2015 average coral cover across the country, which is around 18%, which is actually not bad as we thought before. Going to the specific figures, okay. I didn't mean to show it. The animation doesn't work like I expected, but the atoll specific figures are different across the central Maldives. The North Malay being the both natural and human. North Malay atoll showed a decline of coral cover of 51%, followed by Tha atoll. Sorry, let me move this so I can see. Followed by Wow atoll, which we found to result a coral relative coral, live coral cover percentage to 39%, which is actually a lot. And if we take Malay, it is extremely concerning to see such a decline in terms of live coral cover. After Wow, Uh, Mimoto suffered the most extreme decline with 36%, followed by South Malay with 27% decline compared to 2015 coral reef monitoring data. And Arioto suffered somewhat 14% decline, followed by Dal 6% declines. So it is not uniform across the country. The coral cover decline, uh, which majority of it we blame for the 2016 event. There are other reasons of this decline. Going to the focus of today's workshop, the National Coral Reef Restoration and Rehabilitation Program. We established this program in 2016 last year in response to degradation of coral reefs across the country, and also development of national plan and strategy that would lead to long-term sustainable restoration and rehabilitation of reefs, and also address related research studies and collaborators to inform and implement the program. This sums up the strategy of coral reef restoration and rehabilitation program we have here at MMRI. Um, uh, we feel that, I mean, there are so many factors which comes into play if, when considering a restoration and rehabilitation program. For example, what are the stresses? Uh, what is the condition of existing environment where you want to conduct restoration and rehabilitation? Then take cover of the coral reef area. Will it be viable to do, for example, planting or another method there by conducting surveys to understand the existing benthic cover like major benthic categories, generic cover, and diversity. For example, if an area covers like a lot of macroalgae and a lot of half algae, planting their coral is somewhat useless because it will not be able to compete with other marine organisms and established. And also, what are the management regime existing in the reef condition? Is it managed by? Is it managed or is it open to public, such as fishing and other extracting fishes? And also the resiliency and resistance of coral species existing in the location, susceptibility of corals for bleaching, other natural events. What are the recruitment and settlement rates there? And also connectivity between other reefs nearby. And also the fauna and flora existing in the environment. So these should be used to assess coral reef conditions, but not limited to these factors. So depending on these, what is the intervention type we are going to use? Is it active or passive restoration? So passive restoration is not doing any invasive activity or anything which will hinder the existing environment, rather than take measures such as ban fishing in the area or reduce the diver pressure there or the non-extractive use. Active restoration is physically doing something regarding the existing coral cover, either by doing propagation or doing planting or larval restoration. And these should always be complemented with evaluation and monitoring. Always go back and check what can be improved. So on top of this, the ecological function of the reefs should be considered, the sustainability, whether the intervention we are taking is feasible for long term or short term, and what are the consequences. So this sums up why the coral reef restoration and rehabilitation strategy we have with MMRI. It's not not just going there and planting a coral on a piece of frame or just not doing without considering all these things which we have to follow during a rehabilitation or restoration activity. So these are some activities which we are trying to undertake under the research, information gathering, development of national regulation and strategy, which will be informed by National Coral Reef Monitoring Program and other monitoring studies, such as fishing census, fish monitoring programs, aggregation studies, such as that. Community analysis, what is the word from community regarding restoration and rehabilitation activities. Settlement and recruitment studies, we have started this last year. And we are doing studies currently in Malay region, understanding the recruitment and settlement rates. Assessment of spawning across the country. Shortly, I will show a slide which present results of what we have tried recently. Assessment and compilation of restoration, rehabilitation, and related activities and components. And also collaborating with organizations like CSIRO and Mahe Center in the Maldives. Not limited, but these are some of the highlights of current restoration and rehabilitation. This slide shows the coral spawning and slug formation over time. Reports which we have received from March to June 2020 this year. You can see how the spawning was reported. So we got report of spawning slick in Tundukushi Reef, which is confirmed via photo in April 7. And also on April 6, we also got report on spawning from a flight from North Malay to Shavini atoll. This was also confirmed via photo. And April 10th and April 11th this year, we got spawning reports of coral spawning at Kushi. It is also confirmed via photo. We also got a report of coral spawning slick reported on Pulido Reef. Possible slick photo video confirmed. On March 12th, before these reportings, we got spawning reported from Six Senses Lamo, which was confirmed via photo. So the red triangles shows the reports of spawning corals, and yellow dots presents reports of coral slick formation. And on the flights reported coral spawning, you can see the flight route, approximate flight route. This coincides with the full moon dates as coral go through spawning during full moon. Not all corals. Looking at the reports with activities related to restoration and rehabilitation, we did this inventory from the EAS conducted by EPA. EAS studies administered by EPA, and we found total of 36 projects which concerns with restoration and rehabilitation, which include one 3D printed reef, 2 floating coral frames, 1 ball, reef ball, 32 sedentary coral frames. And all these projects are either propagation or variation of propagation of coral fragments. And the continuity of these projects a bit ambiguous. We had most of the projects, there's no long term. What actually happened after long term? For example, like what is the fate of the program after 5-year period? And this shows where actually these activities were conducted mostly in North Malay. The majority of them are in in various part of North Malay Atoll. All of know why, because we have so many resorts and other development activities going on in this part, in this atoll. We also got some from Atoll, the south and the north part of Atoll. This is mostly of sedentary coral frames, and we got some from Malus Madal, the Kunburi Atoll, the southern part of Atoll, the sedentary coral frame projects. We also did go through EIS from 2018 to 2020 regarding activities which concern either coral reef coral reef relocation or uh, plantation from other area. So total of 82 EIS, which involve some aspects of it, but mostly these are conducted as part as component of EIS. This includes 28 coastal modification EAS, sorry, 3 coral gardening, 1 coral mastery, and 24 harbor projects, 25 resort developments, and 1 seagrass modification. Out of this, 15 are coral relocation from the area because of a project going on this area which will impact the corals, and coral gardening includes 6 projects. Of this all, on the left side of the 3 panels, you can see the areas where these marine related EIS were conducted. And on the center of the panel, you can see among these EIS where the rehabilitation and restoration was conducted at some level. The red dot shows coral gardening, and the yellow ones are showing relocations. And again, we see this more happening in the central Maldives, but also some happening in the north and south of the Maldives. In terms of coral movement, where these corals expected due to project ongoing on the location, the green dots on the right side of the panel shows the source, and the purple shows sink. So these are kind of assessments or exercises we are doing to understand level of rehabilitation and restoration works. So the main focus of today's workshop, we will be discussing, and Hannah will be leading the part on the methods of restoration and rehabilitations happening in the Maldives, output growth rates and mortalities, responses and reduction to stressors. We will be also focusing on challenges, difficulties, and the issues of scaling up, because active restoration is most of the time very expensive and it leaves a lot of funding. So how exactly we can scale up in economical manner, and how we can define success and future outlooks. So that's basically I wanted to cover in this intro of restoration and the monitoring efforts we have here in Maldives. So if, I will pass to Hannah again, and if anyone within the participants have a question, I will try to address it. Thank you.